Welcome to Food and Facilities, an online show for West Coast Industrial Solutions magazine. Our goal is to cultivate knowledge to feed the world by focusing our quarterly trade issues on safety, compliance, and innovation within manufacturing, agriculture, food processing, and food and beverage industries. Welcome to Food and Facilities. I'm your host, Tara Sweeney, the Marketing Director of West Coast Industrial Solutions magazine. And please make sure to subscribe at wcismag.com/subscribe for all information agribusiness, manufacturing, food processing, food and beverage, and ag. And you can advertise with us. Make sure to go to our website at wcismag.com/advertise. You'll be represented at over 20 trade shows annually with a distribution of over 10,000. And we did a poll for our new name for the magazine, and planting to processing won out at 42.1%, and they were collected through our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter accounts. And if you would like to help us vote on the actual logo, that will also be available through our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And these are the options. We will be having 5 different options for you to choose from, and once that is up on our social media, you can give us your opinion. Join us at the Central Valley Facilities Expo in July. It is now going to be a fully virtual event. Visit them at www.facilitiesexpo.com and join us on July 15th and 16th of this year to see virtual exhibits, on-demand conferences, and to participate in contests and offers. One of our sponsors today is ProTech Coatings. They offer epoxy and concrete sealants for food safety and antimicrobial protections. As you can see, there's the before and the after. Make sure to call them at area code 559-323-8147 and have them help you figure out what kind of flooring and what different colors and what needs you might have for your specific facility. My next guest is Ellice Ogle of Tandem Food, LLC. She's a food safety auditing consultant and training professional. You can reach her at Ellice at tndmfood.com. This is my guest, Ellice Ogle with Tandem Food, LLC. Hello, Ellice. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing all right today. It's a nice day outside. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So let our viewers get a little better understanding of what Tandem Foods LLC is about.
Sure thing. So I founded Tandem Food last year as a food safety consulting, auditing, and training company. So I can help clients with their mock audits so that they can identify any gaps, and then of course consult on creating a food safety plan, starting from the beginning with a flow chart and a HACCP plan, moving into some of the prerequisite programs such as SOPs and GMPs, and then moving into other types of programs like supplier approval programs, recall programs, all of those documentation that can be required. And then of course I can also provide training as well, and if that is requested by the client. And my specialty is actually third-party certifications for CPG, so non-GMO project, gluten-free certification organization, and a certified organic USDA NOP.
What are some things you wish more people knew about the food safety industry?
That's definitely a very funny question, because I think that a lot of my experience is always hoping that people get started in on their food safety a lot earlier. I think that companies don't see a lot of ROI on putting that time in on food safety. But really, a lot of food safety is preventative, right? Being able to prevent those recalls, or whether it's from getting sick, knock on wood, right? Or it's a labeling issue. I think that food safety can also just help with laying down the foundation of the documents to create processes that can scale.
And you came on today and you were going to discuss a little bit more about how food safety can respond for COVID-19 currently, too.
Yes, so there's definitely a lot of information, and I'm definitely not going to be a one-stop answer, of course, for kind of how food safety has changed with respect to COVID. Of course, though, we want to remember that COVID is not a foodborne illness. So with current knowledge, rather, COVID is not passed through food. And with that being said, what we know is that COVID is passed more through person-to-person transmission. And so managing the person-to-person transmission, whether it's coworker to coworker or employee to consumer, is really important. And that's always been a big part of food safety anyway, in terms of managing those relationships and interactions. And so that's a lot of the finer details, I would say, have been impacted in terms of training. But of course, there were already existing training programs in terms of personnel hygiene, but there were existing personal hygiene. So for my experience, a lot of what COVID has really highlighted is the, the
more operational side
scope,
of things,
if you will, of those respective programs and how tight they are in terms of just making sure that they work, the validation, verification of the existing programs to ensure that the food is being made as safely as possible for the consumer as well as for the employees in that sense.
Do you have any favorite clients that you've had or different projects that you think would be a good highlight of ways to react properly in the current situation?
I guess in to share an example, I suppose, of the COVID reaction and response, I just want to highlight, this isn't someone who I've worked with, but H-E-B grocery chain in Texas, I think, has just done a phenomenal job with having been prepared as they had reacted to previous crises. And that way, when COVID hit, it was just an execution of their plan. They weren't having to do both, developing and executing. And so I think there has been a lot of publications, and HEB has been pretty transparent in their practices throughout COVID. And again, I just think that would be a really good example for groceries, for sure.
Do you have any tips or tricks or any sort of suggestions you'd like to add about you and your company before we end today?
Sure. I think what is just really exciting about food safety is that it's applicable for all parts of the food industry. And so I've just really enjoyed being a part of so many different projects in very different niches, from cultured meat to vertical farms and kind of the future of food, but also just existing CPG companies or more of the agricultural side, and even branching into a little bit of restaurant and food service. So it's just been such a fun way for me to really see a lot of the food industry just through a food safety lens. I also think that food safety has really helped me to understand risk management in general, and understanding, of course, the frequency or the likelihood of a hazard, as well as the severity of that hazard, and how I can best manage that, whether I'm overreacting or underreacting, and if I'm prepared or not. So I think food safety has just been a lot of fun. My background is in research and development and product development for CPG. And those projects tend to have constraints around food safety and quality. So again, moving into food safety, I've just learned a lot about other parts of the food industry and also about myself. For example, I apparently really like to read fine print.
It's a good quality to have, especially in food safety.
Yes.
So if someone wants to get in contact with you and get some training and learn a little bit more about how they can improve their food safety practices, how would they reach you?
That's great. For anyone who is interested, I can be found on my website, www.tndmfood.com. Also on Instagram, although we are currently revamping our Instagram account to be a little bit more relevant and useful, and also on LinkedIn. I think that even though Tandem Food is focused on food safety consulting, auditing, and training, I've been approached for many different types of projects, even if it's operational, like creating a auditing program within a company or working on, for example, an app, and more of just in general, the food industry. There's lots of different types of projects, and I think that having this food safety type thinking process, I'm able to apply that in different types of projects. So feel free to contact me with your project idea, and hopefully I help. But I also, of course, am connected to a wide range within my network, because even within food safety, we have labeling experts, we have testing experts for shelf life testing. There's all different types that are related, all different types of jobs in food safety. And so I definitely have access to a wide range of trusted network that I might be able to share.
Thank you, Ellice. And I hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. That was Ellice Ogle of Tandem Food. You can reach her at tandemfood.com, tndmfood.com, or reach them on Tandem Food for LinkedIn, Instagram, and her website. Another one of our sponsors is Fine Print Plus. They are offering social distancing floor decals for businesses. They have 11-inch diameter circles that work on smooth floors such as concrete, tile, laminate, hardwood, low-pile carpet tiles. You can reach them at area code 559-237-4747. Email your request to graphics@fineprintplus.com or request a quote through their website at fineprintplus.com/quote. My next guest is the Kern Family Farm with their farm store, the Gnarly Carrot, and they're going to be discussing how they are a location for the Stone Fruit Jubilee, along with what they do as a company. You can reach them at kernfamilyfarm.com. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Kern. Can you give us a little background about your farm and the Stone Fruit Jubilee that you're participating in?
Sure. You want to start with the farm?
Sure. Well, we're on a nice little piece of land up here off the San Joaquin River, up about 3,200 feet, just 10 miles east of North Fork, mighty city of North Fork. And this is a place that I started here in 1974 with my folks, and I bought, and a bunch of other folks bought some land up here to start homesteading, living off the land. And it's been a long, crazy story, but here we are all these years later. And in 1999, I retired from a career in stonemasonry and began building the farm in earnest with Sue's help subsidizing us, and two of our youngest children jumping in as part of the family farm operation, helping with all the farming. And now we've opened a store, and our daughter Becky is running the store. So it's been a lot of years in the making of actually carving this farm out of the hillside here, making terraces and clearing brush and putting in fence lines and greenhouses and water lines and all that. So it's been a true labor of love, and we've had a lot of fun doing it all these years. So,
So we have 80 acres up here. We're certified organic. We've got several greenhouses for salad greens and spinach, and we have fruit trees. We have seasonal vegetables, and we sell most of our stuff in our store, the Gnarly Carrot in North Fork, and we also sell to some local restaurants like the Elderberry House and Southgate Brewery, we've also been hosting farm interns for the past 12 years. We've had over 600 young people come through the farm to learn about farming and live with us for a few months at a time and go off and start their own farm. And we run the school garden at the North Fork Elementary School for the last 20 years. So every Friday when school's open, it hasn't been open the last few months, but every Friday, all the classes from kindergarten through 8th grade come through the garden and learn about where their food comes from. And they actually serve the produce that they grow at the garden in the cafeteria at the school. So we're a full service operation, pretty much.
A beautiful legacy in your community. And how long have you been participating in the Stone Fruit Jubilee?
We've done the Stone Fruit Jubilee for about 13 years now. We took a hiatus in 2018, and we came back last year. We had over 600 people last year. We've had up to 1,500 people at the event. It's in Clovis, usually at the MOA Garden on Indianola. But this year, because of the pandemic, we decided we couldn't run it because the state was not letting big events happen. So we put it out on our social media and got a whole lot of feedback from the people that come to it every year saying, could you at least make the fruit available? Because this year we have 6 participating farmers. They're all local organic fruit growers. They sell peaches, nectarines, plums, apricots, pluots, apriums. We're going to make a 5-pound box of the fruit, assorted fruit from the 6 different farmers available with a booklet about where to buy it during the year and what stores sell it and what farmers markets operate in our community. And we've already had over 200 people order boxes of fruit. The deadline for ordering is this coming Monday. And there are 5 locations that you can pick up the fruit at, including the Gnarly Carrot. Here's the flyer for it. Our website is fruitjubilee.com, all one word. And you can pick it up at the MOA Garden in Clovis, Ampersand Ice Cream in Northwest Fresno, Raw Fresno, which is a vegan restaurant in Central Fresno, the Gnarly Carrot in North Fork, and Naylor Organics in Dinuba. And you just pay online, and the box will be ready waiting for you with a little booklet when you come to pick it up on the 27th between 11 and 4. So we're hoping, people who are usually participating in the Stone Fruit Jubilee can buy their fruit that way. And anyone else that's interested who's listening to this program, you have until Monday to go to fruitjubilee.com and order your fruit. We'll also have a little picture and a story of each of the farmers, so you get a little background of who the farmers are. The beautiful thing about the usual Stone Fruit Jubilee is you go around and meet the farmers. We have all the fruit cut up in samples at the tables. You go meet the farmer. They tell you about their practices. You get to sample the fruit, and then you buy your favorite varieties. This year, though, we're going to just have assorted varieties for everyone because we're not allowed to have the public. Hopefully in 2021, we'll be back in the MOA Garden and people can actually come and meet the farmers that year. So that's pretty much what we have to say about the Stone Fruit Jubilee.
Well, thank you for joining and sharing. Do you want to share anything about the Gnarly Carrot or any openings that you might have for farm interns right now?
Well, if you go to our website, which is kernfamilyfarm.com, there's a section called Work With Us. There's also lots of pictures of the farm. It talks about the different projects, including the school garden. The Work With Us section has an application and an explanation of how the internship process works, so you can apply and we'll get back to you. Right now we have 14 people here, so we're a little full, but later on in the year we'll probably have some room opening up. The Gnarly Carrot is open 7 days a week. It's right on Main Street in North Fork. It's hard to miss because North Fork's only pretty much one street long, but it's 32954 Road 222 in North Fork, and that's all on our website. We're open weekdays from 9 to 7 and weekends from 10 to 6. And we carry our produce from other local organic producers, a bunch of different natural food products. We have fair trade coffee and chocolate. We've got smoothies and juices and a juice bar. We have coffee and tea. You can come in and shop around. We've been in operation since April of 2016, and especially during this pandemic, we've had our business triple because people are interested in buying local healthy food and not having to go to the big supermarkets and wait in line. So we've been doing really well, unfortunately, during the pandemic, but we hope people keep up the practice when things settle down, if they ever do. So we'll see. But anyway,
And
people are welcome to come.
We're real big supporters of other small farms. We have several farms in the valley. We try to get most of our stuff for our store as local as we can. And these farms that are listed here, they're wonderful stone fruit growers. They've been in the valley, some of them for a few generations, multiple generations.
You can read it on this.
And it's just, philosophically, it's just really a great thing to do, is to support the local farms. And, a lot of these folks have not had a lot of market right nearby and close, and a lot of them have had to go clear to the Bay Area or Los Angeles to sell their product. And kind of the mission of the Jubilee is to help connect the local folks up in the valley. There's 1 million folks between Fresno, Clovis, and Dinuba, and the whole right here in the Central Valley, Madera, that ought to be taking advantage of some of these folks that are really treating the land right. They're not using poisons. To us, it just makes sense that you wouldn't want to poison your family with anything. And so why would you spray it on the food that you're going to eat? I wouldn't give my kid an eyedropper full of gasoline, so I sure wouldn't want to put any poison on any of the vegetables that we grow. Philosophically, you're taking care of the earth, the soil a lot better. Organic farming in general is catching on all over. A lot of folks are being more concerned about their health and the health of the planet and the health of the soil, and it all works together. So that's something that we're really aligned with and really try to promote organic. It's not like it's a new thing. We were organic for 10,000 years of our agricultural history, and the poisons have only come in the last 50, 80 years. So that's the new thing, is the poisoning, and we think we need to get back to much more natural approach.
And it's also much better for the environment too, because if you right now we're using no-till. Our son, who runs the farm here, has integrated no-till practices, and that actually draws carbon out of the atmosphere. So if you have a lot of small farms operating with good practices, you can help reduce global warming by growing food, and that's what we're trying to do. The farmers that are participating this year in the Stone Fruit Jubilee are Blossom Bluff Orchards, Bolt Family Farms, MOA Oasis Garden, Naylor Organics, Eldon Thiessen Farm, Olson Family Farm, and Valleywide Organic Farms. And you'll see a profile of each of those farms, when they started, where they're located, where they sell their food, in each of the booklets that come in the boxes of fruit. But the practice of sustainable agriculture is something that really is critical if we're going to survive as a planet and as a species. And that's what we're trying to promote, both, all the way from the school garden to the internship training programs to the store. That's our message to people, is that you can do better than industrial farming. We also sell local beef and pork that is all grass-fed, no hormones. So anyone interested in coming in for some of that, we have that in our freezers. And anyone who has a product that they produce locally and with good practices is welcome to contact us about trying to, sell in our store. We're trying to promote local small businesses. One of the problems with the fruit growers is most of the big supermarkets buy through regional distributors, and they don't worry about the small farms. They go to the big, multinational corporations that grow produce, even if it's organic. So the small farms are often left, without a market. And we're trying to get people to go into their supermarkets and say, why don't you grow this local fruit? Why does it have to get shipped to LA when it is grown right in our backyard? And that's part of what we do at the Stone Fruit Jubilee, is have the fruit fresh and ripe and ready to eat. So you can come in and eat it. You don't get a hard piece of fruit that's shipped 1,000 miles to some kind of market.
Thank you both for sharing and taking your time out today to talk with me about your farm store, and the Stone Fruit Jubilee.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for inviting us.
And we hope to
appreciate
see
it.
people tomorrow, or next Saturday. If they want to come into our store and pick up their fruit, we're open from 10 to 6 next week.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. One of our sponsors is Valley Will Call. They offer industrial pickup and delivery service. They're a Darren Gibbs Industrial Company, and they are serving the greater Fresno area. To contact them, you can reach them at contact@valleywillcall.com or call them at area code 559-312-4544 or reach Darren Gibbs at area code 559-351-3280 or email him at contact@darrengibbs.com. And now I want to offer another moment of silence for the remainder of the show for those that were lost to brutality in our community.